Great responsibility.
It's the Christmas traditions that make this time of year so special. Like spending time with family and friends, the spirit of giving, remembering our blessings.
May your holidays be truly bright. Merry Christmas from Main Street Bank.
Hello, I'm Chuck Reddick, Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. We're working hard to get ready for tax filing season. You know who else is working hard? Identity thieves. Keep your computers and your mobile phones secure. Use antivirus software and strong passwords. Look out for email scams. Secure your home Wi-Fi with a password. Stay safe when you shop online. Look for HTTPS in the web address. See irs.gov for details.
Attorney Tom McIntyre.
Life. It may knock you down, but you don't have to stay that way. I'm Tom McIntyre. I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm here to help you. Give us a call, and we'll send you a copy of my free book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's an interesting read, and it'll explain bankruptcy to you like no other book does. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Call Thomas E. McIntyre and Associates at 304-232-8600. Allow us to help put you back on the road to financial success.
Menards has the best selection of Wi-Fi controlled thermostats from Honeywell. Upgrade to an energy-saving unit that can be controlled from your smartphone, or pair with your Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant to let you customize your heating and cooling cycles. Some units qualify for local utility rebates based on your zip code. Visit menards.com for details. Save on Honeywell thermostats from Menards. Price is good through December 13th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Throughout the Ojai Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
All right, I don't know if you heard me a minute ago. I'm going to do a couple quick stories before I get to him. Just be a few minutes, but I'll get to him.
(800) CDC Info, a message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Wednesday. Clouds and sunshine mixing throughout the day. An afternoon high near 41. Mostly cloudy through the overnight with temperatures down to about 24. You'll see mostly cloudy skies for your Thursday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Does anybody mind if I turn on my radio?
If you're just tuning in, here's what we know.
Today's Wednesday. I hear voices.
What you're hearing is...
My new favorite show.
Oh, God, no. These guys are horrible.
I love those guys.
Opinions different.
Remember, the show is free.
And I expect to be delighted.
It's fine being artistic, just not on this show.
Let's do a show. Let's do a show right now. What are we doing?
It's showtime.
On air, online, on demand, and on video. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Well, after an extended holiday and then a medical day off yesterday, I'm back in the saddle again, and we're catching up this morning on some of the news we didn't have a chance to talk about. A couple more stories I'll get to in just a second. We'll have a complete update on the local COVID numbers. Thanksgiving travel is over, but our thoughts turn to Christmas now. Travel writer Pete Trabucco is going to join us to offer some tips and best practices and some thoughts on that coming up in just a tad. In our daily DC Digest, Trump is talking about a run in 2024 since he's lost now, although he has not yet conceded. A Tea Party group wants Trump to declare martial law and let the military oversee a brand new election. Attorney General Barr says the election was fair, and the Department of Justice is investigating a possible pay for presidential pardon scandal. Plus the $106 hamburger, sex and underwear for sale online on one airline, the multiple mysterious monoliths in the desert, and much more. All of that coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show for this, our hump day. We are starting off cloudy. We're going to see a clearing up as the day goes on, but it's going to be a cold day today. High today only around 40, probably 39 or so, actually, Aaron is saying for. But we're looking currently at 30 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 20 degrees is the feels like temperature because there's wind chill out there. So 30 degrees with a feels like 20, and it is cloudy. Good news is the snow from yesterday is all pretty much gone. You can probably watch for a little bit of maybe lingering snow, patches of ice and so on, but not a dramatic problem. So first big snow the season came big snow. What was it, Biffy? An inch at the most, probably?
Yeah, probably down here. I'm sure the higher elevations received more.
But everybody gets all antsy when the first snow of the season comes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's been a year, so we need a little practice, and then we ease into it again.
All right, a couple of, excuse me, as I mentioned, some leftovers from when I was gone. West Virginia's Greyhound racing industry has been under attack 2 or 3 times the last couple of legislative sessions, and it likely will be so again this year. Carrie Teal, the executive director of that Gray 2K group, a national organization that pushes an end to dog racing all across the country, has been pushing for an end to dog racing at Wheeling Downs and all across the state. They got involved in a couple of the statewide Senate races in this past election and were successful, and they feel that that's a good indicator that the public is perhaps ready for a renewed effort to get rid of the dog racing, and since several of these senators got elected with their help, are likely to do it. So it's going to be a different legislative group of legislators this time around than the last time. We'll see if the state is able to get rid of the racing or stick with it. We'll have to see. Tomorrow we'll talk to Erica Storch, Ohio County delegate, who is one of the strong advocates for Greyhound racing, and she'll give us her explanation. Wheeling Hospital, while I was away, announced that 70 employees are currently not working or quarantined due to COVID-19, which is making them very tight on staffing. COVID-19 has got several other 70 employees are currently in quarantine of one kind or another. I also heard that the beds at Wheeling Hospital devoted to COVID are taking up almost half the total hospital space. That's why when I had to go for some blood work yesterday, Monday actually, when I go for some blood work on Monday, and I went into the hospital, I felt like I was going into a COVID pit, and that's why I ended up going to the urgent care facility instead. So, but Wheeling Hospital is not alone. Reynolds facing the same thing, and many state hospitals having that same problem. Senator Manchin is joining some other legislators to pitch bipartisan coronavirus relief package, hoping to have the senator on coming up later this week here on the Watchdog Morning Show. So those are a few of the leftovers, if you will, from when I was away. I wanted to make sure we had a chance to talk about them. Now, I've been saying since COVID began that the one thing I miss the most, of course, is lunch. It's still taking a couple of my buddies to lunch or a business lunch. It was a regular part of my routine every single day. I mean, 5 days a week, every Monday through Friday, I was out at lunch with somebody, somewhere, someplace. And since COVID came along, can't do it. I haven't been into a restaurant now for 9 months, I guess, almost. And I miss that. But the other thing I'm starting to really, really, really get antsy for, I want to get back to, Brother Biff?
A little bit of shopping?
Traveling.
Travel, yes.
Traveling. My Facebook memory page keeps popping up. Last year, we were before the COVID came along, We had been on a German cruise. We had been in Italy, not Italy. We had been in France and Germany and Amsterdam and Switzerland. The year before that, we had been to Iceland and been out west to southwestern Arizona and the Grand Canyon. And my wife and I got into the habit of at least one, sometimes two. Alaska, we were in Alaska 2 years ago. We've gotten used to 2 big trips a year and nothing. I mean, I really, really am getting antsy to get back out on the road again. Not ready to do it, but I'm really getting ready to do it. Pete Trabucco is with us. Pete's a travel writer and likes to travel. And of course, we often talking about amusement parks, but he travels elsewhere as well. Pete, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day.
Am I correct? You have your own talk show now, too.
Yes, it's called The Weekly Rush. Basically, it's out of Philadelphia, and we interview a lot of different people, celebrities, and just basically interesting individuals. Yes, we are talking about COVID, obviously. That is part of our life at this point. So, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm on the other side of the mic, as they say, recently. So it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, but it's a lot of fun.
I've been meaning to listen in online. Is it WWDB or one of those? Is that the station?
Yes, it is. It's www.db.com, and you just have to look up from where our show is. And, of course, it's podcast, so the shows that we've done. We've interviewed people like Cool and the Gang from Cool and the Gang, or actually Cool from Cool and the Gang. We just did Peggy Fleming, which basically is an actress, and Al Sapienza, and Ron Jaworski, if you're an Eagle fan. We had him on just recently as well. So a bunch of good people.
Yeah, well, it sounds like fun. I meant to actually have a chance to listen to it before I talked to you today so we could chat about it, but I didn't. But I will do that because I'm curious how things are going. Peter, are you doing any traveling at all these days?
Well, trying to do as little as possible. Obviously, the CDC right now recommends not to travel unless it's essential. It depends on the state you're going to. For example, in West Virginia, recently, really not many restrictions there. Minnesota, not many restrictions there. But, of course, here in the New York City area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, there are some severe restrictions. If you leave longer than 24 hours, you've got to go through COVID testing and things along those lines. So, at this point, I would say that I'm still doing a little bit of it, but you got to be very careful. And obviously, if you're going from state to state, you need to go on the website and find out what those restrictions are. And you can find that, of course, on the CDC website with that information. Right now, the United States is on level 4, which is the highest level of warning for that. So I'm doing it, but very sparingly and being smart about it.
It didn't bother me for a while, but I'm really missing getting out on the road and doing some traveling again. So you may have heard me mention, my wife and I had gotten into the habit the last 4 or 5 years of 1 or 2 fairly large trips, a couple of overseas trips, a couple of out west, a couple around the country, a couple of cruises. I mean, I've gotten used to that, and it just cut off completely. And it didn't bother me for a while, but I'm starting to really get antsy. I really would like to go traveling again, in the real sense of that word, but I can't do it. Regardless of the COVID, regardless of the state restrictions, I have some particular medical issues that make me particularly susceptible to COVID, so I've become a COVID hermit for the time being. But I surely do miss it.
Oh, I do too. In fact, obviously you mentioned the Facebook posts where they come up and they show you where you were last year at this time or the year before. And yes, you do get that hankering to do that. But look at the bright side. Obviously, I mean, we're actually close to a vaccine, actually 2 vaccines at this point. By the time it gets to us, obviously our level, it's going to be a little bit longer than, for example, healthcare workers and senior citizens at nursing homes and so on. But it will eventually get to us. So, we've gone through most of the big bump there as far as, waiting for this vaccine to occur. We're only, months, maybe several months away for our turn to actually get that vaccine, and I'm sure it'll be a good one and one that actually does work. I think one of them, the Pfizer, I think is at 95%. I guess so. That's very good as well. But we'll get there. It's just going to take a little time. I tell people if you're going to book a trip, obviously book for 2021. The cruise lines are starting to book things, so it's we're getting there. It's going to be a slow process, but we'll eventually get there.
Are the cruise lines even cruising right now, or are they still in dock?
Oh no, they're in dock right now. In fact, they're not going to be going anywhere for a little bit, obviously, because let's face it, that's one of the areas where when you contain something like that, it all started from a cruise line. Actually, in the United States, it came from the cruise line, in the Seattle area. Right. So that's probably not going to happen. But hotels, casinos, places like that, they're actually booking for 2021. People who are going to be coming in 2020 are just moving everything back to 2021. I would say if you're going to book a cruise line, it probably is a good time to do it now for next year or 2022, because at this point, it's booking up. A lot of the older people that were doing something in 2020 are now booking for that. So that's going to be difficult. Air travel, obviously, it's going to still be pretty easy. There are no full airlines at this point. But I always recommend if you're going to go somewhere, it's the old 5-hour rule. If you're going to go 5 hours in a car, do it. Anything over that, then you probably want to fly, because let's face it, if you're in your own car, you've got control of your environment, which is a lot better.
So that makes sense, I guess. There's a point at which I just don't want to drive a whole lot. But you're right. If you can do it up to maybe 5 hours, do it that way. Otherwise, take the plane. Do you think airlines will be, is this a changed forever kind of thing for the airlines? Will things always be a little bit different going forward?
Well, the latest stats I get on this is the airlines should make a complete recovery, those that survive that is, probably by 2024 is when they're looking to basically get to the same level they were at 2019. So it's going to be a struggle. There are going to be a lot of layoffs, as we've already heard, and hopefully the federal government might step in and help out a little bit at this point. But right now, the actual airlines are suffering. The thing about the airlines that's crazy is, in the airplane itself, the ventilation system is excellent. It's up there with most of the major hospital systems. So it isn't the problem of actually being in the airplane where the danger occurs. It's actually the TSA lines, taking out your stuff, going through, all the different things you need to go through when you get on board an airplane. And of course, when you get off an airplane, again, people want to get off. They're going to be crowding to try to get off that airplane, getting their bags and so on down the line. So that's where the danger comes. And also hotels. You got to really make sure, whenever we go anywhere in a hotel, when we're bringing the sanitizer, we've got the masks, and we're cleaning the place up as if we actually work for that hotel to get the room set, and that takes a while.
My understanding is a lot of hotels are really changing some of their systems to try and make it easier. I had my daughter-in-law had to go on a business trip recently, and the hotel she stayed at, she was able to download her hotel key onto her iPhone, and didn't have to go register at a registration desk. She could just go straight to straight to her room and get in using that. And really, it was almost a contactless experience. And I just wonder how much of this kind of stuff will stay around after, for the airlines, for cruises, maybe for hotels. I wonder how much of it will stay changed after the vaccine comes out and we all get back to some more semblance of normalcy.
Well, obviously life has changed. Like 911, everything pretty much changed when it came to air travel and things along those lines. This will change the way we do things. Probably it'll take a while before, again, the airlines bounce back, the cruise lines bounce back, the hotels bounce back. The one area that really is being suffering the most, obviously, is movie theaters, because obviously you cannot, clean a movie theater to the level that you need to for COVID. And unfortunately, Regal Theaters obviously files for bankruptcy, and AMC theaters are not doing much better. And now just recently in New Jersey and New York, and they're closed down because of the situation and the spikes that we've had. I mean, right now we're up almost 14 million people that have had cases in the United States and 271,000 fatalities. So, and it's getting a little bit worse at this point. It's spiking. Well, with 1.2 million people traveling on Thanksgiving, probably not a good idea to do that. So we might see a few more hot spots for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, there was plenty of warning, plenty of advice given across the airwaves and in newspapers and every place else before Thanksgiving about, maybe just this year, cut down the travel, don't go out. You don't have to go over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. Just stay small, stay home. And yet it was actually a pretty aggressive travel Thanksgiving holiday. So people did not pay attention to the warnings they were given.
Well, it's about half. Airline-wise, it was 1.2 million people traveled, as opposed to around 2.5 or 2.6 that would have traveled in 2019. I think it was like 5 or 6 million that traveled altogether. Unfortunately, that's a lot of people, and unfortunately, I think in the next several weeks we're going to see spikes because of that. And of course, then you've got Hanukkah and you've got Christmas coming up and New Year's. It's going to be challenging for us. But again, with that vaccine on its way, at least we could see the light at the end of the tunnel, as opposed to before we were just wondering what was going to happen and when this was all going to come down, or when we're going to get a vaccine and all. So at least things are looking brighter now than they were, let's say, 2 or 3 months ago.
Will you take the vaccine when it comes out? I will. My producer, Brother Biff, and I have said we'll be at the front of the line once it's available to the general public. Give me the good stuff. Give me the good stuff, baby. I want the good stuff. But I know people that are going to be very nervous and antsy about taking this vaccine.
Well, a lot of people are. In fact, a lot of people just don't want to even take the flu vaccine because they've never done it or they don't want to do it. Unfortunately, that's going to be the case. Again, a lot of people are going to be waiting to see what happens, and unfortunately, if you're in a high-risk category, and I fall into that category as well because of age and diabetes, so yes, I'll probably be taking that, but by the time it gets to our level, it'll probably be out for several months, and we'll know even more at the results at that point, and of course the side effects of the vaccine. So we'll probably know a little bit more than the people that actually get it before us. So yes, to answer your question, I will be definitely doing that. And you're right. In the back of my head, I'll be thinking maybe I should hold off a little bit longer and see what happens.
Yeah, but I'll be front of the line. I am in such a desire to get this whole terrible experience of 2020 behind us, and it's going to last into 2021, but I think we'll probably always call it 2020, the year of 2020. Just get it behind us, get this whole COVID behind us, and so I'll be front of the line waiting to get that vaccine. Pete, when we first talked, you and I, several occasions, it was about your love of amusement parks and thrill rides. I guess those things are really suffering too, right?
Yes, in fact, they are. There are some places that are still open. Obviously, Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, is limited, but they're doing, holiday specials. Of course, Dollywood, which is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, they're doing something. Silver Dollar City in Branson, Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. They're a lot less. Six Flags, obviously, is doing the drive-thrus over here in the North Jersey area, and pretty much around the country. And of course, it's probably, the cool part is at least you're outside. If you're outside, you can practice social distancing a lot easier at parks, especially if you're in a big park, let's say like a Walt Disney World, something along those lines. There's a lot of, the problem occurs, and this is the reason why we're having spikes, is people are coming indoors now. They're going back indoors, and that's where the virus thrives. So they're still open. Obviously, it's limited to what the capacity. You want to, of course, have gloves. You want to have the masks, and you want to make sure that you practice social distancing and sanitizer. But a lot of them are still open and still operational.
I would love, for example, to go back to Disneyland. I haven't been there, Disney World. I haven't been there for a number of years, and I'd like to do that again. I don't think I'd be able to enjoy it. Your point is well taken. You're outdoors, can socially distance better, although I hope that everybody follows those guidelines in the park. I don't know, wearing gloves and having a mask, and I don't know that to me, that's just not like having fun in the park. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thoroughly agree with you. Obviously, a lot of people are not wearing the gloves, but there's sanitizing stations everywhere. And of course, all the trains, when you go on one of these rides, they're cleaned after every single ride. I recommend obviously wearing a mask because when you're in a moving object and you're excited, you're going to scream or yell, and unfortunately that's not a very good thing. So wearing the masks, and you're right. I mean, I play a lot of tennis, and I'm at the tennis courts, and wearing a mask and playing tennis makes it more difficult to actually play a 3-setter or a 5-setter because you do need that air. But that seems to be what we're doing at this point, and you're right. You're not enjoying it as much, but you need to get out, too. As you said, yeah, cabin fever is something psychologically that you need to be able to get out and do things, ride your bike, or just get out to a park or something along those lines. Even if it's cold out, it's worth taking that walk and getting that exercise. And, of course, you need to have exercise in order to stay healthy. So it's best to, just grin and bear it. And just enjoy as much as you possibly can, as opposed to just staying home and watching Netflix or something all the time.
I think I'm on my fourth go round of the entire run of the West Wing, for example. I'm getting kind of tired of it. So your point is well taken. Real quick then, Pete, your recommendations for those folks who do have to or want to do some holiday travel. Personal travel at the holiday time. I'm not really talking about going on vacation. I'm talking about just, traveling for the holidays. What's your recommendations? What are your recommendations?
Well, the first recommendation is call the state that you're going to find out what the restrictions are. And, of course, your state, so you can get back safely as opposed to going through a 14-day quarantine or maybe having to take several tests in order to get back. So that'd be the first thing to do. Keep it small. I mean, this is a year in which you don't really want to go above 10 people at any event at this point. It's just probably good. Obviously, if you've got, family members who are, in those high-risk categories, it probably would be best this year not to see them in person. Of course, wear masks wherever you go. They tend not just to help the person that you're in front of, but they also help you as well. Sanitizer everywhere. Always wash your hands, and of course, social distancing is extremely important. But you can do it, but you just got to follow the guidelines, follow the CDC guidelines, and you can find them at cdc.com for any information on that. Or even CNN had a great on .com had a great a website when it came to the rules to follow. But again, unless it's essential or you really need to do this might be the best time to just keep everything small, stay with your family, and just grin and bear it and hunker down. And hopefully within several months from now, we'll be talking about this from a different aspect, a positive aspect, and life will start to head back towards normal.
All right, Pete, when it gets back to normal and we start talking more about travel, we'll get you back on and talk again. Thanks for joining us today, though.
Not a problem. Well, thank you very much for having me on, and I will talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day. Pete Trabucco is a travel writer and has been with us several times before, and I thought we'd talk a little bit about traveling. Because, again, it's one of the things. It used to be the only thing I was missing was lunch. Now I'm starting to really get to miss lunch and traveling. And I keep seeing my Facebook memory page pops up and 2 years ago today you were in Alaska on a cruise. Oh man, I forget. 3 years ago today you were in Iceland. Oh yeah, it was fun. And I just want to get back out there again. I want to pick up the phone and call Bill Bryson at Uniglobe and say, Bill, book me something. Send me somewhere. Let me go somewhere. Let's have some fun. But the time will come, Biffy. The time will come.
Just have to have patience.
Yes, have to have patience. And I think I've been pretty patient. Some people think I should be a patient. That's a different story. And I'm not talking about a hospital patient. I'm talking about the kind where you want the straitjacket kind of patient. But no, some people think that. I don't think that. But I'm losing some patience for some things. I just want to get back out. But I also want to stay alive. And
you have to find that right balance.
right. And as I said at the top of the show, this week, a year ago, what is the date today?
2nd.
I think it was the 3rd. So a year ago tomorrow, it's the day I went into the hospital last year and didn't come out for 2 weeks.
And actually, if you remember, and it's funny how this comes back around, it was Super 6 weekend last year.
Yeah.
It was the Friday of the AA championship game.
Yeah.
Is when it was.
So it's just a little superstition there too. I just this is not a good way. I want to make sure I want to get past this week, this next couple of weeks, and without any problems. All right, let's do a quick break. We'll take care of some news for you and some sports, and then I want to talk about COVID. Give you a quick rundown of some of the local numbers, a couple of DC stories to talk about, a few other odds and ends if I have a chance. Then we'll turn things over to the Watchdogs at 9.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for...
I did not know. What's the story? What are they going to... I did see this. That's... We'll talk about it afterwards. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, you saw it going across the screen that it was that their game was canceled, and so I was like, I'll take it. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, we can talk about that. That's good. I'm going to walk away for a minute, Biff.
athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield, IMG College.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-77.
Biff, do you have the cut that I sent you from about West Virginia prisons? Okay, I think I'll use that in this segment too. If you want to come back with the coronavirus jingle, we can do that. Okay.
Wheeling Hospital Urgent Care. They'll take good care of you.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Wednesday. Clouds and sunshine mixing throughout the day. An afternoon high near 41. Mostly cloudy through the overnight with temperatures down to about 24. You'll see mostly cloudy skies for your Thursday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Before getting started with the morning show with Howard Monroe, listen to the latest breaking news, traffic, and weather updates with WTRF's live news broadcast. Weekdays beginning at 6 a.m. only on the Watchdog.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
COVID-19 update.
Continuing coverage of the year America shut down continues on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Thought we'd run by some of the quick numbers for you here in the local area. Ohio and Marshall counties, as of yesterday and at the moment, are both still red. Now, the new map will come out later today, the DHHR map. Will one or either of them go out of the red? My guess is no, but we'll have to wait and see. But Ohio and Marshall counties are both still red on the COVID-19 map. The Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department yesterday reported 35 new cases of COVID-19. Looking for my notes here. What's the total number? I don't have them here in front of me. But anyway, it was 35 new cases of COVID-19 in Ohio County. Marshall County Health Department reported 4 deaths related to COVID-19 and 11 new cases as of yesterday. One of the deaths was an 80-year-old male who had been hospitalized. The other, a 99-year-old male who was a resident of a long-term care facility. So those are some of the numbers I thought you might be interested in knowing about. The vaccines, which we've talked a lot about, could be coming to the local area as soon as December 12th, which is that next Monday or the following Monday, Biff?
The 12th is next Saturday.
Next Saturday, a week from this coming Saturday.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so according to Howard Gamble, the health department, at the moment, that's kind of the general time frame for vaccines coming. Now, that doesn't mean you and I can go run and get them, but that's when the vaccines will be available. They will first go to COVID-connected healthcare workers. And then I believe they'll go sort of work out from there. What's the word I'm looking for? People who are particularly susceptible to COVID in high-risk categories. High-risk folks will be getting it next, those in nursing homes and long-term care facilities, and then eventually will roll out to the general public. So December 12th is the start date at the moment, but that does not mean that you and I can run out and get it. It'll probably still be the first of the year before that happens. Wheeling Council and the mayor and others last night at their council meeting urged that the city's residents please listen to the advice you hear about social distancing and masks and hand washing and not large gatherings and so on. The COVID numbers are rising, and the mayor and others said, pay close attention to that, be vigilant, and to be careful for the virus surge. And one of the most fun things that happens every year around the holiday season is the Festival of Sound put on by Wheeling Park High School. A long time ago, when my kids were students at Wheeling Park High School, we went every year. It was the Capitol for many years, then it was moved to West Banco Arena, and then up to the G.B. Chambers Performing Arts Center at Wheeling Park High School. But tremendously good music program in the Ohio County school system, and they all came together once a year for the Festival of Sound. And they're still planning it. They were going to do it virtually this year. It was going to be a virtual Festival of Sound. You weren't going to be able to go to an auditorium and watch it, but you could watch it online. But they were going to have the musical groups, like the Young Patriots or the Wheeling Park High Band or whatever, they would get together and record their own performances, which would then be up on this virtual Festival of Sound. But given the tighter regulations and given that we're still in the red category, they can't do that. So it's still technically planned, but apparently unlikely to occur because they're not going to be able to even do a recorded version of some of this stuff. So unless there is a dramatic change in our numbers, Festival of Sound, yet another victim of COVID this year. In West Virginia prisons, COVID outbreaks are becoming a real serious problem. And the question becomes, what do you do about it? Do you work harder to isolate the prisoners who are inside these jails? Maybe. A lot of people were saying it's time to let some of these folks out early and not put as many people in our jails. One of our reporters this morning, Diane Bernard, has a look at some of the calls that are being made to kind of reform our criminal justice system with an eye towards making it safer in the prisons for COVID.
As the number of COVID cases in West Virginia jail COVID, it could help restore lives and reunite families. For West Virginia News Service, I'm Diane Bernard.
It's 8:52, 8 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Coming up at 9 o'clock, of course, it is the Legislative Watchdogs. They'll talk about some of the key issues in West Virginia and national politics as well. Then at 10 o'clock, it's Statewide Talk Line with our good friend Hoppy Kercheval. Among Hoppy's guests today, Senator Joe Manchin, who is proposing, along with some other moderate senators, a COVID-19 relief package. This is over the desires of Mitch McConnell and others, but some of the senators say it's time to get a package done before the first of the year. So they'll be talking about that today on Statewide Talk Line. Plus a former longtime State House reporter in West Virginia, Andy Gallagher, is going to be on with Hoppy, talking about all the changes happening in the GOP resurgence in the state and so on. That should be kind of interesting. Andy was around for a long, long time covering the State House, so there'll be a different perspective he will bring to things. And also, Tony Caridi is in to talk about the WVU Gonzaga game tonight. Of course, Tony was just with us a few minutes ago talking about the game. Biff, there is a funny story about how this game came to be, though, right?
Yeah, actually, it happened last week. Coach Huggins was watching ESPN, and on the bottom of their ticker, Tennessee was supposed to play Gonzaga, which I think is being played in Indianapolis tonight. So Tennessee, I guess they had some problems and with the COVID, and they couldn't play. So Coach Huggins is seeing this going across the ticker, and apparently he has some friends at ESPN. So he picks up the phone and calls ESPN, and I guess made a couple phone calls, and he told him, he said, hey, he said, we'll play Gonzaga, make it happen.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. Make it happen. And the next thing you know, well, by golly, tonight we have West Virginia and Gonzaga tonight at 7 o'clock from Indianapolis.
That is so Huggins.
Oh, I mean, no surprise there with him. I mean, it's just, he just happened to notice it and made a few calls, and the game was made.
I mean, it's so quintessential Bob Huggins, you know? Sitting there watching ESPN, they can't play. Well, I guess I'll take it. Grabs his phone, hits the ESPN contacts. Hey, it's Hugs. Understand Gonzaga's not going to be able to play Tennessee. Well, I got an idea. How about us? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and again, I think one of the reasons Coach Huggins took the game, not only is Gonzaga number one, and you want to see, where you stand against the best in college basketball. I just don't think, he wanted an opportunity to let a game go by and, not have an opportunity to play. And he said, hey, why not? We'll play them.
We'll take it.
We'll take it.
Home game's going to be fanless, at least for the month of December. No fans in the Coliseum in December.
Yeah, men's and women's games.
So that'll be... I was thinking about this this morning when I was reading that story. Do you think they'll be able to hear, like, the announcer? Well, Tony's got a big voice. Normally we get kind of blended out in the crowd sounds, right? But it's just the only people will be in the Coliseum, I think, will be basically the broadcasters, right?
Broadcasters and whoever's working the games, and especially if they let Tony sit courtside, and because I'm sure they'll have the glass all across. So yeah, I mean, if he's courtside, you may be able to hear him. I don't know, but I know one thing: if you're going to be able to hear Hugs, you might want to cover the ears of the little ones, because there might be a word or two you don't want them hearing. So
yeah, that's a good point. Crowds and crowd noise have a purpose sometimes, and sometimes it's just to keep certain things from going over the broadcast. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, Tony will be on today with Hoppy to talk about that. on a statewide talk line. Then at noon, of course, it's live from the news desk of WTRF TV, complete live coverage for your noon headlines. So if you need a midday check of the news, you can get it at WTRF, and you can watch it if you can, but if not, you can listen to it on the radio. And then, of course, today being Wednesday, I guess Mayor Elliott and or Vice Mayor Chad Thalman will be in for their show, Your Wheeling, no two ways about it. The girls will be in after.
Ladies.
The ladies.
Sonia and Olivia.
Yes, I should just call them by name and try to call them the girls or the ladies. Yeah, you're right. Sonia and Olivia will be in at 1 o'clock with their show today. And at 2 o'clock, Big Rick is back. And among Big Rick's guests today, Wolfgang von Halen, the former bassist for the actual rock group Van Halen. He was the youngest member of Van Halen prior to Van Halen disbanding in 2020. So going to hit some big pop culture name today with Big Rick on the afternoon drive. Begins at 2. I don't know what time. I do know what time. 2:30. 2:30 today. Wolfgang von Halen will be in with Van Halen. I shouldn't say Von. Wolfgang Van Halen will be in at 2:30 today with Big Rick. So you want to check that out. So that should be kind of good, kind of fun. Big Rick, he's back this afternoon here on the Watchdog. Then is tonight anything special on our after 6 o'clock game? Different coverages, Biff?
Actually, that's what time the pregame for West Virginia and Gonzaga will start at 6.
There we go. So
yep.
Wrap things up with Big Rick and just stick around and catch the WVU game right there afterwards. All right, that's it. I got to say sayonara, see you, bye-bye, farewell. I got to go. I got to get out of here. However, good Lord willing, creeks don't rise, bat phone doesn't ring, and don't get impeached, and don't retire. Ticker keeps on ticking. And that's even less, that's even more likely now than before. And most importantly, Teddy says, it's okay, you can go back to work tomorrow, Granddad. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock on the Go Around to the Big Gig. Are you back with me, Brother Biff?
I'm here for a Thursday.
We'll keep on doing it till we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Erica Tursky with an explanation.
All right, Biffy, have a good time with the dogs. I told Kayleen I don't think I'm going to come in today. I think I'm just going to call in to our meeting. So, but I'm not going to come down. I'm still super antsy about this stuff. Plus, I can't walk. Like when I took a pee break during the news here, it just kills me. That's as long as I'm sitting still, I'm fine. But got to do something. That's why we're doing all this testing. Something, I take a little bit of walk, and I can't breathe. I just can't breathe at all. So, no, it's not. So we're working on that. But so I think I'm just going to stay here. I'm not going to bother to try and come down. Although I am going to go down for a chest X-ray to urgent care again later. All right, but I'll be around if you need me. I'm on my phone always, so give me a call. And otherwise, I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Good to get back. Thanks. Appreciate it. Bye.
This advice and has made the decision to approve the vaccine for use with some conditions in adults aged 16 and over.
The first shots to be doled out to the most vulnerable in the UK starting in a few days. When will the Food and Drug Administration get our shots up and running?
I hope by the 10th or the 11th of December, Pfizer vaccine is approved.
That's Dr. Mansif Slawi, the chief medical advisor to Operation Warp Speed. Lawmakers in Israel passing a preliminary proposal to dissolve parliament, setting up another presidential election. You're listening to ABC News.
Modernization isn't just a buzzword, it's a buzz revolution. Hi, I'm Future Strong, founder of Modern Modernization Today, and I can take your business into a bold new era where high-tech eagles soar and paradigm shifts grow on trees.